Welcome to the Western Integrated Systems Accounts Payable demonstration of PSIcapture by Kofax, formerly known as PSIgen. Today I want to take you through a demonstration, show you how information could get captured from email, could get captured from a multifunction device or scanner, where we would capture that information, bring those documents in. In this case, it would be a purchase order from the source purchase order, a packing list, invoices, and those kinds of things, and bring those documents in and have them automatically sorted and classified, and ultimately migrate that data out to a source. In this case, we'll be showing you a Windows folder export. However, it could be something like FileBound, or could be SharePoint or some other document management system that you might already have in place or need assistance from Western Integrated Systems to set up, to do additional searching and workflow and things like that, three-way matching. So we're going to show you the OCR process, bringing and capturing that data in. We're going to OCR the documents. We're going to basically bring it in and capture it. We're going to then classify that information, basically stitch back the documents back together. And then finally, then the last step, we're going to take a look at the information when we migrate that data out after it's been indexed and store that into a Windows folder. So let's talk about that right now and go in here. So today we're going to do a demonstration. We're going to go into Capture here. And when we go into Capture, this component here, we're going to choose our AP processing with mixed documents. Essentially, it's with invoices, packing slips, and purchase orders, as you can see here. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And all this is going to do is going to simulate the ability for us to choose a document. Now, in this case, we already have document scanning because I don't have a multifunction or a scanner attached. But I could hook up a local scanner. I could have a network multifunction device that's scanning to a network folder and do the same thing. And all we're simulating here is us capturing that information automatically. And then from a user standpoint, there's not a lot of work that users have to do, other than maybe a quality check on the documents. Today, I'm going to take you through step by step what each part of the process is, so you see what's kind of the wizard behind the curtain effect is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my documents, which you can see here. Here's my mixed documents. I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to start capturing. And this would be like hitting the button on the multifunction machine that says scan invoices, POs, and packing lists. And then you would scan it in, take a batch of documents from multiple vendors, things like that. You know, this could be a human resource document. This could be anything from a sales and marketing document, a legal document. It could be any type of document. In this scenario, we're going to show you the invoices, pack list, and the purchase order and invoices. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit Start Capture, and this would be, again, like hitting the button on the scanner, the multifunction, or maybe I'm monitoring that email address. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and click OK. It's going to bring in all the documents, which you can see on the right over here, and you can see all the documents that it pulled in, and it pulls them in as single pages. And then what it's going to do in this step is it's going to try to look at the information. It's going to bring them in, and all we're doing is scanning those documents in at whatever the source is. And then all I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to close out the batch. Now, normally you wouldn't do this. It would be in an automated fashion for you guys. But then I would hit close. I hit OK. And then what's going to happen at that point, you can see it moves to the next stage where classification happens. And what it's doing is it's OCRing the documents, it's stitching them back together, it's trying to figure out what all that information is on the documents, and then it's going to automatically move it into the indexing stage. So you can see there's several documents, it's stitched them back together where I have 1 page, maybe 3 pages, 2 pages, and it takes all that information, it's pulling out all the relevant data at that point, and then what I'm then given, which is essentially in a quality assurance stage or quality check stage, is I'm given all the information. And as you can see here, I have all these documents that came in, and basically here's the vendor name, the record type. So it identified which invoice, packing list, or purchase order it has, what kind of document type it is. It identified the purchase order number based on if it has the information. And then it's going to look for a PO date. In this case, for a packing list and invoice, it doesn't have a PO date. That's only applicable in the purchase order here. And then a PO total. So this is what we originally ordered from the vendor, and the information in there as far as amount due, for the PO total, what we should be expecting in the invoice later. Then we get an invoice number, which is only available in the pack list and the invoice And then we get the invoice date, only available in the invoice, invoice total, only available in the invoice. And then finally, the delivery date. This is the packing list when it actually was received into our warehousing or whatever information. Now I can sort this information by a purchase order number, and then I can see the types of documents. So us as Acme Corporation, we're going to be generating the purchase order, which is 10890. As you can see here, I can click on that. It's going to automatically zoom in that area. It found the PO number and information, and every other types of document naming convention, as far as that, you could say purchase order or PO, P period 0 period number, NUMBAR. So things like that, all those kinds of things. Now, if I want to look for a PO date, I wanted to look for other information for a PO total, it knows to go on what page that is. And you can see down here at the bottom some information about what that information is. It's a single page document, and it found that information there. So if I wanted to look at another document, maybe Umbrella Corporation, I'm going to look at the pack list. So I'm in the pack list, or maybe I want to look at the Umbrella Corporation, the invoice. I can look at that. So you can see here, I've got a purchase order, then I received the packing list, and then I received the invoice, and all based on that PO number that unifies everything together. And me as a records management person, I could take a look at that and say, okay, my original packing list, the information that the information that we did for the purchase order, I'm sorry, is 16,038, and then coming in at 16,038 and 30 cents. So those match up, so I'm good to go there. So I could do kind of a poor man's check of the original PO and then what we actually got invoiced for. If there's any discrepancies, take a look at that document and figure out what the discrepancy is. So, well, the last stage in all this information is, after looking at all my information, I extracted all the information that I wanted, and I want to migrate that data out. This could be automatically done as well, and it can only flag documents that maybe had a discrepancy. It could not read information, didn't have a level of competency or something like that to be able to extract the information. And then a human would go in here and say, you know what, that PO number is actually .8 instead of 90, is actually 98. It didn't find that confidence. In this case, we know it's 90, so that's good. But if there was an amount, this was a 6 instead of a 5, you could adjust that information in here very quickly and put that information in and move on to the next step. So once I've confirmed all that, there's no cautionary items here that I need to take a look at or add a new invoice. I can complete that information, close the batch out, and you can see the next step is to migrate the data out. So you can see down here, it now moves to the migration stage. It exported that quickly. And at that point, I'm going to go into my documents here, and you can see under the PSIcapture storage for demo 102 we just did at this particular time, which is 10:51 a.m. I have all the specific things, and we can set this up any way you want, but we have the ability to do that by vendor name, by date, whatever information we extract from your documents that makes that relevant for your organization to take a look at it. Again, this could be a Windows folder, this could be file bound, this could be SharePoint, could be anything that you wanted out there that you're currently using or need a product like that. So I'm going to click on Acme Corporation. I'm going to look at the purchase order, and then you can see here's all the purchase order information from Acme. This is all the POs that our company generated for the 5 particular documents. I can go back out of it. I can click in the document and I can look at that specific information about the document. I can go back if I wanted to, and I go back to Globex Corporation. And in this case, since there's no PO, because those are on the Acme Corporation that we created the purchase order, now we're only going to see the invoice and the pack list. So I can go and look at the invoice. And at this point, the demo 102, I have the information also that I can take a look at of all the information that it extracted. So here's the CSV file where it wrote that information, all the information about that we got in the actual migration last stage from the information it gathered out of classification. And then if I go back and take a look at the information, I can also then see the document as well, the invoice that it extracted. And it puts that in the proper folder for the vendor, and then created a subcategory under that folder for invoices and packing lists. So I can look at the packing list and I can take a look at that information as well. You can see it broken out by Globex, and then there's the packing slip. So that concludes the information today about the Accounts Payable by PSIgen, now Kofax PSIcapture, for invoices, purchase orders, and packing lists.